Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and the Uncommon Sense Update. Greetings and thanks for watching. So last week we had another mixed market. We had the S&P and the Dow with some pretty good gains, but the Nasdaq and international investments were, suffered some losses. Not huge, but still some losses. So this is just an example of if you're thinking that you're going to achieve in your own 401k the kind of results that the Dow saw last week, be prepared to be disappointed because, the Dow 30 stocks, just 30 stocks, were up over 2.8%. So if you were diversified and you own some small cap and some international, your results are just not going to be 2.8%. So keep that in mind. Really, the biggest news from last week was the fact that the Senate, in the wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning, late Friday night, passed their version of the Tax Reform and Jobs Act bill passed by the House not too long ago. These two plans have some differences, and that's going to be hashed out in committee now. It is interesting to see some politicians walking around taking a victory lap when really nothing's changed. Until these two bills get reconciled and then re-voted on by the House and the Senate, nothing has changed. So they're not close to being done yet. I mean, who knows? They could get something done here in the next few weeks and finish it up before Christmas, which has been a plan that they've had, but you just never know. So I do want to take a minute and I want to sort of look at a couple of these things and explain how they might impact you and me for that matter. So when we start, if we look at something like corporate taxes. So corporate taxes, in the House plan, we see that the corporate tax rate would be about 20%. There is talk already in the reconciliation bill that they might fudge, and it might not be a 20% rate. Maybe it'll be 22. But the bottom line is that corporate taxes are, if these bills pass, are going to go down and go down substantially, and we view that as very favorable for the stock market. Income tax rates. So the House bill has just 4 rates, whereas the Senate bill has 7 rates. It's hard to guess. There might be a meeting of the minds as far as maybe instead of 4 or 7, there will be 5 or 6, or maybe there will be 4, or maybe some of the rates will be a little higher. Who knows? But that's one that we're going to watch because that's something that can directly impact, how the middle class views this type of tax bill. We also see something in the way of certain deductions for like mortgage interest and state and local property and income taxes. In both cases, they want to eliminate deductions for some of these things and then increase the standard deduction in an attempt to offset it. So what that means for a lot of people is that this tax bill actually saves the money for the majority of the middle class. This will be a tax reduction for most of them. However, for many people that feel like they're in the middle class, but they live in higher cost of living areas like California and New York, they're probably not going to see a tax break or much of a tax break at all, even though they view themselves as the middle class. Something that is an example of that is, say, the amount of interest you can deduct on a home mortgage. So in the House bill, they will allow you to deduct a mortgage up to $500,000, and in the Senate bill, it's up to $1 million. Now, at $500,000, that could have a negative impact on a lot of Sonoma County residents where I live. If they end up deciding that $1 million is the right answer, that would make it applicable to most middle-class people, including those in California and New York. Now, hey, if you got a mortgage of over $1 million, I don't think anybody's going to argue that you're doing a little better than the middle class. So it's not surprising that that number was put out there. But we're going to be following this really closely in the next couple of weeks, because this is where it's all going to happen. Which of these are going to be, are they going to split the difference on? Maybe some others, they're just going to pick the House or the Senate version. And who knows, they might just come up with some completely new stuff that was, who knows what it could be. There is one thing that the Senate did slip in their bill at the very end, and that is the elimination of the mandate to participate in the Affordable Care Act. We're going to hear a lot about that as this bill goes through its negotiation process, and I'll talk more about that in a later update. But it is pretty important, because it could be a problem for insurers where if they do away with the mandate, the obligation to buy health insurance, but yet they require the insurance companies to provide coverage to anybody regardless of pre-existing condition, you sort of have a perfect storm for increased premiums, or just insurance companies, not doing well and not able to cover the cost of actually providing care. Again, that's a whole separate subject. We'll get into it in another update. Let's see, was there anything else? Oh yes, I did want to mention that December 8th, the government is supposed to run out of money. So look for some of these negotiations to sort of tie these things together. The Republicans are going to try to say to the Democrats, hey, we'll give the government extra money to continue operation if you'll maybe sign on to this new tax bill. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks as we watch all this stuff play out. But December 8th is sort of an important day. It's when technically there would be a government shutdown. All right, I've talked too long. That was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share. We certainly appreciate it. And we'll be back to you on Monday with another Uncommon Sense update. Thanks for watching.